Hutchinson is our Bastrop County Veterans Services Officer, but he helped put all this narration together.
Yes.
Made it wonderful for me, but he has a special presentation tonight. And this presentation has to do with the Bastrop County veteran, and he's going to come forward, and there is a published order that he's going to present. So if you would stand for this special honor and presentation of the Air Force Distinguished Flying Cross that was never presented when it was supposed to. And I believe it was left on the doorstep. And that's no way to receive that award. So, Sergeant Ronald Lundrigan, if you would come, where you going?
Okay, we're going to do this just a little bit out of order. I'd like to tell you a little bit about what this man next to me went through in order to achieve this distinguished award. In late April of 1975 was when the last troops left Vietnam, and at the same time the Khmer Rouge took over the government of Cambodia. And shortly thereafter, in a test of U.S. resolve, Cambodian Navy took the SS Mayaguez. They hijacked the ship on international waters, took the crew, took the ship, and President Gerald R. Ford at the time said this is an act of international piracy. He directed his staff to begin preparations for diplomatic negotiations, and should those fail, a military option. Well, when those military planners were taking a look at what was in theater at the time and what those options could be, I'll let Dr. Lundrigan explain that to you later on his boards outside, but if you've ever seen an HH-53 land on a ship, it's an interesting story in itself to get one of those birds in there. When they were planning the operation, the other thing they found is that they didn't have enough Marines available for any type of assault should that become necessary. They ended up bringing in Marines from Okinawa and flying them into Utapao Air Base in Thailand. They also made plans for an attack on some of the key installations in Cambodia on the shore, should that need arise. And diplomatic negotiations did fail. At that point in time, the man to my left was part of an operation to deliver 175 Marines loaded into 8 HH-53s, sometimes known as the Jolly Greens or the Jolly Green Giants, and they flew to the island of Koh Tang, where the ship had been found off the coast of Cambodia. During that assault, the initial assault, 3 of the helicopters were destroyed, 2 heavily damaged, one of which was this gentleman's to my left. As they received heavy ground fire through their aircraft during this time, they were able to take the folks that they could get off the beach and limp into the air. His aircraft barely made it back to Thailand before, as we like to say, it ran out of altitude, airspeed, and ideas all at the same time. Later on, the Khmer Rouge, after this attack and after aerial assaults on the Cambodian coast, decided it was a good idea to give up the crew of the SS Mayaguez, and they were released to a U.S. Navy vessel. At the same time, the Marines who were on the island of Koh Tang received word that this had now changed from an assault to an evacuation. At that point in time, there were only 4 out of the original 8 helicopters that were still operational. Those helicopters continued to receive heavy fire on the ground as they were trying to evacuate all the Marines. At the end of the battle, there were 18 Marines and aircrew dead from this assault and evacuation. There were an additional 23 casualties that occurred during flights getting personnel to Utapao, Thailand. Now, one of the things that I want to read to you directly is a quote about this particular operation. The Maiguez incident is no more than a footnote in most histories of the period. It and the men who carried out the rescue deserve better than that. At a time when its resolve was in doubt, the U.S. showed the world that it would pay whatever price was necessary to protect its citizens and preserve its national honor. I give to you Dr. Ronald Lundrigan, former Sergeant, USAF, Pararescue PJ, a member of this operation that we are here to honor tonight.
Attention to orders. Sergeant Ronald A. Lundrigan distinguished himself by heroism while participating in aerial flight as a pararescue specialist of a HH-53C helicopter on Kotang Island in the Gulf of Thailand on 15 May 1975. On that day, Sergeant Lundrigan was a member of a HH-53C helicopter crew which landed on the island in an attempt to rescue fellow airmen who were on the beach. Although the aircraft came under intense ground fire, the crew retained its position until no possibility of successful rescue existed. The courageous action aided in the recovery of the SS Mayaquez and its crew. The outstanding heroism and selfless devotion to duty displayed by Sergeant Lundrigan reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Signed, Lewis L. Wilson, Jr., General, United States Air Force, Commander-in-Chief, Pacific Air Forces. Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated. Thank you, Colonel Hutchison and Dr.